The M word, money. Yes, it's about how do I determine my price as an interior designer, or what am I worth? How can I be worth more? How can I get my clients to pay me what I'm worth? How do I balance the time I put in versus the money, for example, I will be earning? So who's got any questions like that? Type a yes in the chat if you have some questions about money, and you can put your questions there already. Yes, I see. What do I charge per hour? Yeah, we'll absolutely cover that today. For me, asking is a struggle. Yes. Story of my life. Yes, is it? Is it story of your life? Yeah, well, you'll be in good hands today. I heard the other one before. It's not a pair of shoes they buy. I can't give a price up front. Well, I get you. I know what you mean. We'll get into that. It's about the perception of your client, okay? You're going to love this. All right. And if you're here working still in the meantime on your projects, yeah, I see you. Listen, there is no such thing as multitasking. So please decide right now if you spend the hour with me learning about how to get paid better, or spend the hour finishing the work you want to be paid better for. What we'll be covering today? The webinar consists of 6 parts. The first part is a quick introduction about me, why listen to me. Then it's about money. What is it and what does it do is? And don't worry, it won't be long, it will be fun. And the third part will be about how to claim your expert status and how to raise your income. Then we'll be talking about making your service visible. And after that, I have a specialty for you if you want to continue with us on this subject. After that, I'll answer all of the questions you may still have about all of this. Okay. Let's see. Who am I? Before we dive into, you're probably asking, who is Mark Miskis anyway? Well, I'm Mark Miskis. I'm an interior designer myself, just like you, and I'm always a business trainer. The husband of Yvette and the father of these 2 boys. And I am fond of sporting. This was my first surf lesson last weekend. It was a really cool one. And I love mountain biking too. I like running. I like boot camp, nature. I really love to play outside, and I love contrasts. I love, a crowded city versus no man's land, and, fast food versus Michelin star dinners. Yeah, and of course, a fanatical obsession for interior design. In 2008, I started my own interior design agency, Zoom. I did a lot of hospitality projects, upper market residential. I was on TV for a bit, and I worked closely with a lot of high-profile project developers. And all of those things taught me a lot. Because in 2016, I started Masters of Interior Design together with my friend and business partner Sven van Buren. And you saw him already. Well, he's in the chat organizing all the questions and all the comments. So this is Sven, and we focused solely on residential projects. And it went all actually, too well. It was a crazy time, what they call successful, but money was flowing into our pockets. But running 16 projects at the same time with just the 2 of us, some of you may have heard this story before. It turned out these 16 projects at the same time was a bit much and formed a challenge. So what looked like a success ended up in an ultimate disaster actually. It was just too much to handle. Emails, phone calls, catching up in the weekends and evenings, really stress level to the max. So we decided to put all our projects on hold and to fix them one by one. So the next step for us was investing big time in trainings, in coaching, reading books, getting coached personally. We spent a fortune on this. It values far beyond 100,000 euros, really. Let's call this expensive lesson, but what we learned from this is great. And we can now precisely anticipate on how a project will go, like a fortune teller. So, we are now able to recognize the good projects. Clients pay as well. All projects go smooth and within the right time frame. There is no such a thing as stress anymore, actually. No. I never would have believed this is possible, the lifestyle we have right now and the chances I have right now. And there's also this really cool. Sven started the Interior Architecture Group on LinkedIn back in 2008. And right now we have over 165,000 interior experts. It's amazing. And in the last couple of years, we had some really interesting conversations with our members, and what we discovered was crazy. Sven and I are not alone in this. Every other interior designer we spoke was running into the same, well, shit as we were, but without the luck of finding an answer. The answers we found. So we decided for ourselves to get on a mission to help you and unite all other interior designers. So that's why we've launched the Institute of Interior Impact. And today we are here with you, and our mission is we want to change the profession but for the better by empowering 100,000 ambitious interior designers worldwide. We want to experience the creative freedom you get. You do what you love to do best, and you do what you love doing most, if you are truly happy. Together, we are able to design our world and the world of our clients. So let's make this world more beautiful and better. And well, this is what gets me out of bed every morning. I'm often asked why we give this free webinars. What's the catch? And now you know it's our mission. And if you want, we do offer paid trainings for interior designers. And later on, I tell you more about it. So, if you want to make real impact, if you want to make real incremental steps, the best way to do that is to go on a great journey with us. So, stay tuned. All right, money, the M word, dollars, euros, ruble, whatever your currency is. The question is, do you like money? Yeah, do you like money? Type a 1 if you like money, and type a 2 in the chat if you have some judges or negativity towards money. Yes, we have to tackle this before we proceed. So, my question is, do you like money? Type a 1 if you like money. Type a 2 if you have some, well, ideas or negativity around money. I see some ones coming in. Yes. Type a 1 if you like money. Yeah, a 0. Oh, really? A 3? You're joking, right? Is money that bad? No. 2s are rolling in. 1s and 2 are, well, 1s and 2s are going up with each other. Okay, that tells me enough. That tells me enough. We have to dive into this. So, well, you know what money really is, actually? Do you know what money really is? It's just one thing. It makes bartering, interchanging stuff easier. You can't go to an owner of a supermarket and say, hey, I will design your house. Will you let me shop for 5 years? You can't do that. So they invented money. It just chops up into smaller pieces and you don't have to go to the owner of the supermarket directly. This is what money is. Just that. Understand that money is neutral. It isn't a good or bad thing. It only has value because we all say it does. Money doesn't make choices. You do. And I'm sorry, this may seem like an open door to you, but this is where it all starts. You have to truly tackle this problem and not treat it like an open door. I won't go into much detail about it. If this is an issue for you, you Google money mindset and you will find tons of value about it. Okay? Another question. What do you charge? Yes, what do you charge? Do you work with an hourly rate, a flat rate, fixed fee, and how much is it? Put it in the chat, please. Remember, I won't share your name with anyone. I know this is private info. I treat it with respect. How much do you charge for 1 hour? $100 an hour, all right? $300? I want 100, but I can't. It's what I charge, but if I calculate the hour, it's closer to 50. Ah, is it? Be realistic to yourself. Thank you for being so honest, by the way. Yeah. Oh, she's typing. Maybe you're right. If I count it all of the hours, it's probably more about 10 euro. Oh my God. Yes. Oh my gosh. 60, 120. All right. Well, that is why it is so important to be truly honest with yourself. This lady, I won't mention her name, she just had one of the biggest insights of the year. Am I right? Yeah. She types yes. All right. Yeah. And there will come some more insights. Yeah. All right. Okay. I saw a lot of rates going around, all depending on where you live, of course. You can imagine an interior designer in New York will cost more per hour than an interior designer in a rural place somewhere in the middle of nowhere, as the cost of living are also different per place. So, to get back to the basics, what do you need? Do you know this? What do you really need? Yeah. And what I mean by that is, how much do you need to make per month in order to pay your bills? How much do you need per month in order to make your bills, to pay your bills? What's the cost of your lifestyle? And how many projects would you need to cover this? Write it down. How much money do you need to pay your bills? Have you ever thought about it this way? Again, how much do you need to make per month in order to pay your bills? What is the cost of your lifestyle? And how many projects would you need to cover this? You need to know. I said 20 projects in the chat, all right? But I'm doing 5. Great. Thanks. Yeah, you see, it's important being honest with yourself. I want to do 40 projects a year. Wow, all right. A real go-getter. Keep in mind, stay realistic with yourself. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I see that a few, I don't know again. Yeah. I see that a few times, and I know this is really an issue. We all have our standard life expenses and we all have to pay our bills. So let's start here. What does your life cost? Let's say per month. What do you need? You know that? It's a good idea to figure this out for yourself. What does my lifestyle cost? A nice lifestyle I want to live. And don't go all the way overboard, just a little bit better than right now, okay? What would it cost? You don't have to know this right away, but figure it out. Write it down. Pick a moment in your calendar that you sit down with your bank statements and figure out what life was costing you per month in the last couple of months. And then add the nice things you would want it or be able to do. And again, don't go overboard. I want it to be within reach. All right. Well, yeah, good to have this really clear. Yes, it is. Yeah, you know, this is your starting point. You have to know where you are in order to get to where you want to be. It's just like, well, driving a car. If you want to drive to Rome, you need to know where you are in order to get there. You know how much you need each month. You know how much you have to earn. And divide this number by the least amount of projects you can do per year. I said the least. So let's say you want to do 20 projects and you need 50K a year. Before you do the math, I know you're an optimistic creative designer. Isn't that 20 projects is a bit optimistic? We'll see. Well, I put a formula for you because we are some we are visual people, right? I'm a visual guy too. So I created a formula for this. So let's calculate with 10 projects. That means you need 50,000 divided by 10. Well, let's see. 50 divided by 10. And this is Einstein, by the way. He knows this really heavy calculations. Yes, what's the answer? Put it in the chat. 50k a year divided by 10 projects. What do you need to earn per project? 5. Yes, 5k. That's it. And can you see now, with the most negative scenario, you can still remain your lifestyle. And if you do manage to get those 20 projects of 15, you can save that money or invest it in yourself. Now to become a better creative entrepreneur, to do something you've always dreamt of, or save for retirement, an insurance, or to keep it for a rainy day. Yeah. Well, here you have the calculation again. You see? Write it down and figure it out. It's a really important number. It will help you to feel what you need to earn, to communicate what you need to earn with your clients. Do it. Yeah. So this is well, with our profession actually, well, you know how most of our clients see our profession. They see it as something they consume. They see it as fast trends. They see it as materialism, something they buy for a few years and then trade it again. And something you buy for a few years only is worth, well, less than something you keep for years to come, right? If you quickly buy a quirky, fancy, really fashionable new suitcase or handbag for your next weekend trip, and you spend just a couple of euros on it, you're like, well, it's cheap. If it lasts for this weekend, it's all good. And then you throw that piece of plastic out. Compare that against a beautiful handbag or a travel bag made of beautiful, sustainable materials and handcrafted, top quality, strong stitches, some really handy pockets and zips. A bag you love and cherish for years. And with our profession, it's the same. Do you want to be seen as the cheap, fancy piece of plastic, or the fine quality handbag or travel bag? You know the answer. Do you want to be the trendy pillow thrower, or do you want to add meaning to the life of your clients for a longer period of time? Exactly. Explain this to them and your value will rise. Now we have spoken about the time, the period, how long your designs last within their lifestyle. But what if your design has a positive impact to their lives? So what if you can make their life more fun or more valuable? Yeah. If you do hospitality, if you can explain your design helps to clients to have a better revenue. We'll be organizing a podcast on this subject really soon, by the way. If you make a good design for a restaurant, people are willing to spend more money. They want to buy that fancy wine, or they will still stay longer to have a dessert, for example, or a coffee. Yeah, this is something you can not tell your clients enough, starting with the first time they get in touch with you. And most likely that's your website. But also when you're at the table, when you meet them in person, repeat, repeat, repeat. This will skyrocket your expert position and your value. A client will be willing to pay you so much more, maybe 5 times or 10 times more, really. I'll show you later. If you can promise a restaurant owner that if he listens to you, follows your advice, the interior will last double the amount of years, 8 years instead of 4 years, because of a better layout, because of better materials, or whatever your expertise is. Okay, and maybe after 4 months, you could call them and ask to do a quick makeover or so. They'll be more than happy to do so because they know what you did to their revenue before. The cash register, that's what it's all about. And if you're not in hospitality, but in, well, let's say senior living, then you focus on the needs. If you design offices, then you elaborate on, well, a whole lot is going on this subject, isn't it? Now, COVID has changed our way of working. And if you can tell your clients all about it, how to make people more productive or do a great office layout, then tell them. And especially in the way they like to receive information. Well, great example in this case with a white paper called Post-COVID Office Survival. It may work. Yes, you can steal this name if you want, Post-COVID Office Survival, but make a white paper of it. Do your thing. Show it. What's important for you? What's the higher purpose of your interior designs? So if you do homes, tell your client how to bring their family closer. We call this together alone. More quality time together. More time to relax. A place from where you can take on the world. Show that you understood your client. Again, it's more important that they feel understood rather than they understand you. Interior has a huge impact on our lives, on our surroundings, but interior is only a means to help your client to achieve what he wants to live. And coincidentally, interior design helps them with that. All right? Make your client feel understood. Great one. Have a look. Maybe you know it, maybe you saw it before. And still, all we have in mind is that we sell ourselves cheap to get the deal, right? But please remember this. Any product or service can only use 2 out of these 3 words. Good, cheap, and fast. If you pick cheap, you either have to drop fast or good, and most of us drop fast, but that's not what our client is looking for. They want fast as well. So it's up to you to decide. Do you want to give your client fast and good, good and cheap, slow maybe, or worse, cheap and fast and bad? Another reason to charge more. It's the only way to give your clients what they need. But if you choose this, then you need to make sure your client knows it's good, that you are good. This brings me to the next part of this webinar. Claim your expert position and make your client see it. Valuable so far? Okay, the shortage of money is the problem of the way you were working. You know that now. The relationship with money and the time is missing or it's off. And this is also because the designer-client relationship, it's quite transactional, right? Your client sort of says, I just want you to do this and I'll pay you, and then you go. But I always say to my clients, look, when you work with a designer, it's not transactional. It's a bit more like a marriage. You're going through all sorts of things together, but you both want the same objective. But it's not transactional. It's not like you're going when you employ an accountant or someone like that, for instance, or that sort of transaction. Not employing a creative, you must see this. It's a different relationship. You may call this, well, taming your clients. Getting paid more seems to be the solution, but is your customer willing to pay? They don't pay you for your hours. They pay you for your solution. So the solution, how can you be their solution? So that you don't have to keep selling yourself and you get bored, because your client sees you as their only option towards their goals. Yes, you have it again. So, stand out stand out. And what do I mean by that? Not necessarily how you look like, although I really like this lady. I don't know who she is, but she's definitely a designer. But what I mean is, don't talk about stuff. I said it before. Talk about what your client's life would look like after you've helped them. The future after you have done your work. Yes. How would their life look like? What will they feel? What will they experience? And then how you can guide them to get there. You tell them how you do that, right? What your process is. And it may sound a little annoying to you, but imagine your client sees you as a creative, as a dreamer. It's fake for them, right? You're uncatchable, you're untouchable. And we creative do things just on feeling and intuition, right? And what are they looking for, our clients? The least amount of liabilities, insecurities, and risks to get their end result. Meaning, they want a solid plan, a solid, strong working method. And if you can offer them that, they will buy. Whatever the price. Well, to a certain amount, of course. But they don't care anymore whether you are more expensive than the other designer they invited. You have a trustworthy plan. And the other person, the other interior designer, does not. You are, in their eyes, the expert. An expert that takes them by the hand and guides them through the rough, scary times ahead. In other words, the intangible design process and building process. You know the way. You map their risk. You take away their fears and anxieties because you are the expert. And you see, if you can bring your client here, if he trusts you like that, he gives you his trust back. And trust means more creative freedom. We want that. More creative freedom means you get to design what you want just by designing a little bit more business eye in the beginning. All right? We by having a process that fits your client's needs. So instead of designing interiors, spend some time designing the business side of your interior design agency. And suddenly you have grown your expert status. If your clients tell you that they want an extension to their house, or they tell you, I want to open a new restaurant, or give my office a makeover, what is it really about? What is the question behind the question? Why do they want this? Why? Why does it need to look like that? Instead of what should it look like? Why? If you can bring your clients to that insight, the question behind the question they are really looking for, then you are the only solution. You are doing something beyond interior design. It's not about your design skills, it's about your human skills, the cooperation with your clients. And your client already knows he understands your design skills. That's not why that's not why they invited you. They saw those skills on your website, on your portfolio. They know you are a good designer. You are invited to see if you understand them. Write it down. You are invited to see if you understand them. So at the table, never show your portfolio. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about you. Leave that to your competition. Your portfolio won't convince them. How you can help them with what matters to them, that convinces them. The connection you have with them convinces them. And that you can offer the next step, convincing them. All right? Great so far. Next slide. Yes, show them their next step. Yeah, and that next step should be a paid one. Should be a paid step. Whether you work with fixed fees or an hourly rate, and even do you believe that you can give them a price up front, well, give to that in a moment. Well, we'll get to that in a moment, so keep an open mind on this. It may feel scary at first because getting a deal and talking about money at the table, well, for most of us, it's a big thing. So, well, for me it's fun, but I know it's scary for Sven too. but he has found a workaround for you. So that's why we come up with this. You don't want to go to your client to have a great talk. Really understand each other and your client, and he wants to continue with, well, when he wants to continue with you, and you don't have something to offer, why are you going to meet them? Because you have to get back to your office, right? You have to make some calculations, etc., etc., etc. And then days, or to be honest, weeks later sometimes, you come up with a written price after you met them already a few weeks ago. How would that make you feel as a client, in the eyes of your client? Let's say, well, let's make a comparison. Let's say you're booking a weekend away with friends. You found a great hotel in the center of Barcelona, but you don't know how expensive it is. You find a plane that flies there on the dates you want, but you can't book because the airline gets back to you in a week with an estimate price. You want to book now, right? You want to get started. You want to get going. You don't want to wait. And a week later, when the prices come in, do you still feel the same way as you when you were talking to the booking agent? No, of course not. You may have found another solution in the meantime because you couldn't wait. And now it's too late. And even though the thing you already booked is crappier and is not as much fun and maybe more expensive. So always make sure you have their next step ready with a price. How? Make your service visible. Yes, make your service visible. That starts with the following steps. Know your ideal clients and know their ideal product. Start with checking with yourself, who do you really like to work for and can afford you? Write down that persona. And if you don't want to write down one type of persons, then you can have multiple. That's possible too. And then look at your former projects and those types of ideal clients and see how much time you spent on those projects. And see what really worked for them. When were they happiest? When were they missing something? And see if you can chop your product up in a couple of bites. Maybe you can start with a sketch. That would be your first next step. A paid sketch, not for free, remember that. Because, well, here's why. How many of you know who this is? Put it in the chat if you know who this is. Yes, whoa, quick one. Picasso, yes. Do you know the famous Picasso story of when he was at a market in Paris? An admirer approached him and asked if he could do a quick sketch on a paper napkin for her. And Picasso politely agreed and promptly created a drawing. He handed back the napkin, but not before asking 1,000,000 francs. The lady was shocked. How can you ask so much? It took you 5 minutes to draw this. No, responded Picasso. It took me 40 years to draw this in 5 minutes. Yes, and I'm not saying you should ask for 1,000,000 for your sketch, but don't ever give away your expertise for free. Interior design is not a hobby, it's our profession, but also, it's our passion, but it's also a profession. If you give a sketch away for free, all your knowledge for free, you will immediately lose your expert position in the eyes of your clients, instantly. So, start with the first next step for your client, paid, and maybe a ball game of what the total would look like. That's even greater. And if you can give them an exact amount, wonderful. And then your client knows exactly what they were in for. But with a ball game, we're already due. We do. I said it before, nobody books the plane ticket before they know what's the estimate for their hotel is going to be during their stay. Okay? Quick We recap so far. So far, we've talked about 3 important subjects. Money is, well, one is the money mindset. And if yours is still needs a bit of attention, I encourage you to do so. It's very important in your way of fixing your issue. Yeah? We've also talked about how to become the expert in the eyes of your client, have a process, ask the right questions, and have your ideal client, right? And the ideal product for them. And then we finally discussed about how to make your service visible. It makes it manageable for your client. It makes them understand. It's not about them having to understand you, but you understanding them. Listen, you don't have to be the world's best designer to do this. You need to be the designer that understands their scenario. You have to get in their heads and see it from their perspective. So make your service visible to them. It will get them to understand you. And if you know exactly what to design for them, because you ask the right questions, then you really are the expert. It increases your value as a designer. It increases the lead time of your project. And if you're also working, for sure when you're working with healthy priced packages. Sometimes Sven and I get questions like, what's the biggest project you've ever worked on? Well, then we are mostly asking, do you mean the most square meters, the highest budget we could work with? Well, to answer that question, residential projects over 1 million euro, interior design only. It was so cool. Great opportunity to show your full potential. But do you know what the biggest project is you will ever work on? It's you. You. So my advice to you would be, take good care of yourself, maintain yourself, invest in yourself in order to grow to be the best version of you. Well, quick sidestep with that, but let's continue. More valuable stuff is coming your way, because how do you implement all this? Let's go to the chat. Wow. I need to share this one. I promised not to mention any names, so somebody says in the chat, we are designed to grow and give. Wow, you're a great human being, lady. I can feel that. Thank you for sharing. All right, listen, I believe you with all these insights and your notes, but knowing is something different than doing. You know? Therefore, we've developed a really cool tool to implement what you've learned today. And the good news is, minor changes, a big impact. It's a proven strategy. I'm talking about 3 pillars. ASK, ask. And this is something Sven and I have discovered during the time we were too busy. And this small shift in the way we ran our projects led to giant results. You may have heard me talk about this before, the 3 pillars of ask. And with ask, you reveal the deeper layer, the real wishes and problems of your customer. And that's why your clients are willing to pay more for you. I won't go much in detail about it, but it works like crazy. Clients understand us better and follow our design decisions. All the stuff I talked about during this webinar. We've created an easy to implement program to guide you with this. And I wish I knew this when I started in 2008. And this webinar is all about the M word. So let's get comfortable with it. Let's dive into it with real numbers, our numbers. The reason why I want to share this with you, this is what happened over the years. In 2014, 1,475 euros for exact the same product as 7 years later in 2021, and that means 29,500 euros. So it's amazing. It's for every single next project compared to where we all begun, it's almost 28,000 euros extra. Only because we implemented this. It took us 7 years, but you can do this faster because now you've heard how to do it.